flashing lights, voices shouting through the night. Static hum that shakes the ground, Rift Nation rising loud, profound. Feel the fire, feel the fight, we're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage, unleash the fury, turn the page. Steel strings scream the truth we bring, echoed chaos, hearts that sting, electric veins that feed the roar, harder, faster, crave for more. Dust and sparks ignite the air, shattered silence, do we dare? Tidal force, relentless stream, we're the edge, we're the dream. Feel the fire, feel the fight, we're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage, unleash the fury, turn the page. Rift Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain, we're the anthem in your veins. Feel the fire, feel the fight, we're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage, unleash the fury, turn the page. Rift Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain, we're the anthem in your veins.
The engine is self-starting.
For launch, GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max,
Go.
Eagle, go. Ecom.
Go pending final steps to cabin link check.
2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Rift Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. Happy True Crime Wednesday. You are viewing, and we are streaming live on the Rift Nation Network on this Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and if you have if you listen to podcasts like I do every day, we are on Spotify. So if you missed our show tonight, please, if you're a podcast, if you listen to podcasts, which I do too, I'm a Spotify girl myself. I hope y'all are doing well. Welcome, welcome. If you are new to our chat and you're watching us live for the first time, please say hello. We love to hear from you. My name is Joni Skinner. I am a forensic astrologist, and on Mysteries Beyond the Scenes, we combine astrology with true crime cases to try to solve missing persons cases, cold cases. The astrology can add in some missing puzzle pieces. And of course, we take the calculations from the astrology chart and I map them. It's all done by calculations. They're extremely accurate. And we, as a matter of fact, tonight we had and it just broke within the last couple of days. There was a missing young, I call it young girl. Of course, she's a woman, but she went missing down in South Carolina. And right before the show came on, they had done the police had done a press conference where they had found someone today in a park wearing the same clothing that she had been wearing when she was last seen, but she has not been identified yet. So unfortunately, she has been found. But today, her name is Elena, and I mean it's taken off on social media. This young, beautiful young girl. She was a fitness person, and she went missing. She's been caught on many webcams and cams and all kinds of surveillance. So she has just her case has just ignited on social media. Unfortunately, the news is not good for Miss Elena. She was found. So I charted it. I did the chart and I also mapped it. So I know kind of the basic vicinity where she was found. So we'll show you that chart. The chart was a little weird today. I know Ro and I both looked at it today. And we're like, this is weird. We didn't really know what was going on, but, we map it and we sit back and wait. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. We're going to have to see what comes out of the investigation. So that was down in Lexington, South Carolina. So I've got that chart too. But this particular case for this evening, Crystal, who is an astrologer, Crystal watches the show, and I know works nights, and she tries to catch the show, but she does listen. She asked me, she said, would you mind looking at a case? And it occurred when I was young in the Tampa, Florida area. I know that area well. And the name of this case was the baby, her name was Sabrina Aisenburg. And she was a 6-month-old baby who was abducted out of her crib as a 6-month-old baby back in 1997. And she said, I'm very familiar with this case, but it's just one of those cases that it never, she thinks about it. I have seen that so much with people. It's very common that people seem to watch a case or watch a true crime case, and there's one particular case that sticks with them. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what it is. And she said, will you please take a look at this and just kind of see what the charting says? Because the parents are, they do age progression like this particular missing poster, and the parents are constantly putting these out, and they're very hopeful that with the new DNA that we're seeing, I mean, where cold cases and missing person cases are being solved a lot right now with this DNA. And we had a case a couple weeks ago that we talked about, Orthron. I think it's Orthram. Yeah, that company, and they're just making such strides in DNA. It's in genealogy. It's amazing to watch. So this chart was a little bit weird. And I even talked to Crystal about it. And I sent her a copy of it because she's an astrologer too, and she does work on she's learning forensic astrology as well. So let's get into it. I would love for y'all to hear your feedback on this particular case, because it's just one of those cases where it was like, I did the chart. What happened is, long story short, the mother, Marlene, put baby Sabrina to bed. She checked on her at midnight. At approximately 6:30 in the morning, she woke up and Sabrina was gone. That's exactly what happened. So just long story short, and we'll go through what the family did go through. Sabrina has never been found. And that was in 1997. So she's never been found. Some very odd things showed up in the charts. I did the 6 a.m. chart where mom found her missing, and it really didn't give me anything. But then I started to investigate and listen to some podcasts, and a neighbor stated that at 1 a.m., his dog started to bark, and he took his dog out, and he heard a baby crying. He heard a baby crying within the vicinity. So I thought, oh, let's do 1 o'clock. Well, wait until you see what the 1 o'clock mapping produced. It's pretty remarkable. Now, we can take what the mapping gives us one of two ways. Yes, she could be there, or on mapping with forensic astrology, it's not unusual for a mapping of a case to have different areas of interest. For example, I told you that one time I did a map for Michael, and he said not only they found the person, they actually found the person alive. However, the map, every place that they went to on the lines in the map, like it ended up as the brother-in-law's house of the missing person. It ended up as a family member where they work. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a guilty person, if that makes sense. It's like the mapping can tie in entire families. Now, Kirsty McIntosh has taught me forensic. She's the best forensic astrologer in the world. And she always talks about sometimes in a mapping, more than one set of remains will be found in a map. So if there are like a couple of missing people in the area, it's not unusual for two sets of remains to be found. So we don't know how it works, but it's odd. So keep that in mind when you see this this mapping tonight, because first of all, the family is still, because of all of this DNA and the genealogy, they can never give up hope, ever. I mean, that's one thing you never do is give up hope. So, but I wanted to just make sure that if it shows up on the map, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's, the end all, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Let's check out how are you, chat? How is everybody tonight? Let's check the chat. How's it going? Hey, got you shared out. Thank you, sir. I hope you're doing well, Sir Keith. And of course, as always, I love seeing my friends from Canada. How are you, Miss Denise? Hey, Denise, I got a scoop. And Carrie Lynn will probably just say, "What, Joni? Keep your mouth shut." But I can't because this is such good news. Our friends from Canada, I just love them to death. I mean, I just love everybody up there. And I was on one of our friends, her podcast and her show Friday night. Carrie Lynn Shellhorn has Spirit Switchboard. And she's got a podcast, and she does also streaming live on YouTube. And I went on her show just to talk about the astrology for July, because July is historical, it's unprecedented, it's biblical for the world. Like I said, patterns that we have never recorded in history. 8,000 years, 12,000 years. That's what we've been seeing in 2026. So long story short, we had a great time on her podcast. And she texted me today, Denise. Guess what? She had this was her record breaking. She got her audience numbers today from their producer. It was her best show ever, record breaking audience. So I'm like, this is just awesome. Congratulations. She does so much work I hate to say this, but just for humanity. I just adore her. She's great. 1,050. It was either 1,050 people or 1,551 people. I'm not sure, but I know it was 1 million and maybe 550 or 50. 1,050 people. I can't. 50. I can't remember. It was over 1 million people. So let's put it that way. And she broke a record, Denise. Isn't that wonderful? So I just thought I'd share that little bit of information. You know what? It's well deserving. Kudos to Carrie Lynn. I mean, I'm just so proud of her. I love it. 1 million people. I'm never going to do her show again because it makes me nervous now. Makes me nervous. Hello, Miss Lee. How are you? How's it going, everyone? Hello, Miss Kathy. How's it going? How's Joni? We're waiting for storms. Typical storms are coming, and I think in about an hour. They're predicting 2 inches of rain in just a couple of hours. So, here comes the flood. Get out the Noah's freaking ark. 2 inches of rain like in an hour? Are you kidding me? Hello, Miss Renee. Thank you for sharing us. I was going to plant some sunflowers. I'm glad I didn't put the seeds out, or they would have been washed away with this 2 inches of rain coming. Roro, how are you, my dear? Hi. How are you, dear? We talked about Elena's case today, and we looked at the chart and the mapping. So it's a very sad case. We're going to have to watch that unfold. I watched you on that show. Oh, good. Thanks, Kathy. We had a great time. I always feel like when I do her show, here's the secret. What happened, I'm like the standby, right? So they line up their guests all ahead of time and all that. But I'm like the stand-in. So she'll text me and go, "Can I ask a huge favor?" And I'm like, "Well, sure." She's like, "Can you do the show, in case one of her guests or something, they get sick or something happens." And that happens to people that have shows that have guests. So I'm like the fill-in. So I'm like, "Well, absolutely." Luckily, this particular show, it was about July, because July is astrology that we really don't know what's going to happen because we've never seen it before. So it's something else, y'all. It's coming. I know. She deserves it, Keith. That is awesome for her. I love it. So, and Lee is saying hello. I hope y'all are doing well. She's got a great show, you guys. If for Friday night, she's got a great show. She's a great, there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, I'm a psychic medium. Okay. And I just say, okay, because every medium is psychic. Every psychic is not a medium. Okay. Every medium is psychic. Every psychic is not a medium. She's the real deal. She just changes people's lives, and it's her passion, and she's great at it. And I like real people that really do that. I mean, she's real. She is. She is. She's the real Leo. I know. Isn't that great, Denise? That's great. I'm excited for her. I told her today, I said, I'm going to brag on you, and she's a Leo, but she's also, she's a Leo. And Leos are really, it's coming at you, Leo, at the end of June. You got, what's going to happen is Jupiter, the planet of expansion and abundance, is hitting that house that your Leo sun sign is in, or if you're Leo rising, it's coming at you. So get ready. I mean, it's just fabulous. It's been in Cancer for a year. Take advantage of that great energy. Hello, Miss Peggy. How are you? How's New Orleans doing? Us too. How's it going down there? Be careful with all your rain, honey. You guys have that tropical storm coming at you. Be safe down there, Peggy. And if they tell you to evacuate, get out. Hello, Miss Linda. How are you? And Miss Linda has a new show on the Rift Nation Network. Linda, just drop in here, the show time, the show name, what y'all do, so that everybody knows it's a 3 p.m. show on Tuesdays. And just put a little bit of info on what you and Sue do on the show. Give us some info. And Miss Cindy is also with Rift, and she's on at 9:00 on Monday nights with just energy, the bowls. And I know she's listening on her car. Hello, Miss Cindy. How are you? Everybody give a shout out to Miss Cindy. It was a fun show. You two have a connection. We're really good friends. And we do. And we catch up on her show because it's like, do you ever have that friend, y'all, that you don't talk to them for a couple weeks, but then when you talk to them, it's like you never left off from where you were, because you know how busy your friend is. Like we'll send each other funny memes and stuff, but it's just, she's, when you have a friend in your life like that, you're just so blessed. We do. We have a good time. We do. Oh, thanks, Linda. I'm glad other people liked it. I'm glad. Thanks, Linda. I'm glad people enjoyed it. I'm going back on, I think, at the end of July after all the we go through all the stuff in July. After we go through July, right? And I'm going to be on there on her birthday. So it'll be fun. Seeing a lot. Yes. A lot of bodies being found. Families getting closure. Isn't that wonderful? And we also, a big time that a lot of remains are indeed found. are at eclipse season. So not only now, but coming into August. I don't know why. We are having a lot. And you know what, too, Lee? And I'll tell you what it is. What we're also seeing, and I always look up when I see patterns, Jupiter, which is the planet of wisdom, law, the truth finder. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Sagittarius is the sign of truth. And Jupiter is getting ready to ingress, like I said, into Leo. So it's moving into truth, courts, a lot of information like that. It's really neat. In America's chart, it's moving into the 9th house of the judiciary, of the courts, of law, higher education. So you're going to see that. It's going to pick up too. We're in that ingress right now. Keith dropped the link to Riff Nation Network. Thanks, Keith. And Keith, and then we do Keith's show, and check out Keith's shows on the Otter's Den. On the Otter's Den. That's on Facebook as well. So Linda's show on the Riff Nation Network, she's with Sue, and they do, I love that name, the Cosmic Cushion, Tuesdays at 3 p.m. And they talked about vitamins this week. It was shadow work. And next Tuesday, we are diving into hypnosis. Linda is a licensed hypnosis. She can also hypnotize people if you want to go back and look at your past lives, which used to, right? That's right, Linda, right? Did I get that right? So if you're interested in past life regression, get a hold of Linda. She can hook you up. I love that. And we are. And Keith, I do too. I listen in the car. Check out the replays. I have to work at that time, and that's why it's so great to Spotify, or just, listen in your car and after work. I know. So, all right, y'all. Well, welcome, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like, and I know y'all share. But we'll get into this, and I know Crystal will be listening, and I talked too much for this, but here's our story with Sabrina. Like I said, she was Valrico, Florida, which is suburb of Tampa. Remember, we go back to 1997. So this is her age progression. And here is her mama with baby Sabrina. Here we go. Here she is in 1997 when she was abducted and here she is at the age progression. Now, this is the home. So what happened is, and I remember that now, y'all, we all know back in 1997, what did we used to do a lot? Or our families? We would leave, and sometimes it was by accident, leave the garage door open. It's not unusual back then. It was not unusual. They had left their garage door open. Now, come to find out, after the baby was abducted, other neighbors had stated that they seemed like there had been numerous break-ins in the area with people that had small children. Okay? So we've got the 1 a.m. scream, numerous children, numerous break-ins. What happened in this case is, guess what, y'all? Guess who got blamed immediately, giving law enforcement what? Complete and utter tunnel vision. So, long story short, this family, and I'll give you just kind of like the Reader's Digest version of it, because this went on forever. From the very beginning, here's the police. From the very beginning, law enforcement blamed mom and dad. From the beginning. They even went as far as to get, now remember this, there were 7 unidentified prints found on the crib. But yet, mom and dad immediately, they looked at them immediately. So what happened is law enforcement went to a judge to have their phone lines tapped and to tap into their phone conversations, right? When you listen to those phone conversations today, you simply cannot understand anything. They're not, you can't hear it. They're jumbled, correct? So what happened is they took what they felt were the conversations derogatory, that they had basically unalived the baby, right? So what happened is the grand jury met with these statements, the recorded conversations, and the grand jury indicted them. They indicted the parents. Well, guess what? A judge dismissed the investigation because of misquotes, because of pretty much that you couldn't understand the tapes. It was a misprosecution. So that they were arrested, but the judge dismissed. So again, we've got where they focused in on the parents while a baby was abducted, and they missed all that time, right? So the parents sued. They sued, which they should have, right? So they sued. Guess what? They were awarded $1.5 million. They were awarded $1.5 million. But it didn't bring back the baby. They moved, and they had 2 other children, right? Sabrina was the baby. So they moved back up to where he was from, Maryland. They moved up to Maryland, and they have never given up hope that the baby will be found. And of course, throughout the years, we've had a lot of people come forward and say, I think I'm her. A lot of DNA tests. There they are and here they are today. A lot of people have come forward and said, hey, I'm her. DNA testing has not worked out for any of the people that have come forward. Now, pay close attention to this one. There was a whistleblower that came forward and stated that he had disposed of the baby's remains at a particular causeway going across Tampa Bay. So, of course, they searched everywhere for this child. But again, they had eyeballs on the parents. So they had a whistleblower that came forward and said, this is what I did. So wait till you see where the map takes us. So they are still hopeful. They still come forward. They still tell their story. And of course, you can watch. There's so many documentaries and podcasts out there about different witnesses, different things that people blame the parents on. But just keep in mind that the judge released, and you can also listen to the tapes. You cannot decipher what was said on those phone conversations. You cannot. So long story short, let's take a look at the astrology and see what the astrology tells us, okay? So I'm going to do, let's see, which one was this? The 2 a.m. chart first, and I'm going to buzz through that one because I did not get, let me see how big I can make this. I'm going to try to make this really big for y'all. Okay, here we go on the 2 a.m. chart. This chart, I did not get a lot out of. No, my bad. This is the 6 a.m. chart. My bad. This is the 6 a.m. chart when mom woke up. So remember, when we do an infant's chart, we only use the moon. When we have a baby and it's a victim, we only use the moon represents the baby. So if we use the 6 a.m. chart, the baby is in the 11th house, which shows a familiar. Okay, we know who did this. They know and are familiar with whoever pulled off this kidnapping, correct? Abduction shows up in the 2nd house, right? So we've got an older man, perhaps, in the 2nd house. We've got the perp, which is Taurus in the 7th house. Venus is the ruler. That's in the 3rd house. Guess what? We're in the neighborhood. All right? So the 2nd house with Mercury in it shows communications around the home. Suspect might have lived nearby. We know that the police were communicating in the home. They tapped their phones, right? 3rd house in the neighborhood. Crime took place close to home. Well, duh. Yeah, it took place in the home. Within a short distance, the victim was taken by car. Victim was taken by car. We have Uranus in the 4th house of the home. Sudden event that occurred in the home. Explosive, quick. 6th house. Again, we have an older male figure that would have represented somebody in somebody's work environment that knew this family. I don't know what that means because I really didn't. There's not a lot of digging into information on, work and all that. So the perp possibly could have been and known people from a work environment. Okay. This chart did not feel right to me. And I've told y'all this before. When I do a chart, I've done so many of them by now, I know when they hit. I don't know why. I think it's because I've done so darn many of them. Now I want you to see another chart. Aha. This is, guess what? So I told Crystal, I said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to do the 1 a.m. chart. Well, sure enough, the minute that I pulled up this little chart, look at this chart, y'all. The moon is in the 1st house, which means the perp was right in front of the baby. Well, of course, because you know why? She was abducted out of her crib. So the perp would be Pisces was the sign. So let's look for Neptune. The perp was in the 5th house. That's weird. But look at all of the lines and the aspects to the moon in the 1st house. It's crazy. Okay, do you see that, y'all? So what sticks out the most is 4th house in the home. Pluto always tells us, and I hate to say this, to look for areas where there could have been vacant lots, construction areas. Okay. I thought, well, it's not telling us a whole lot either, right? Saturn in the 8th house, of course, represents, you know what? Undiscovered, hidden for a very long, long time. Saturn is age. Saturn represents age, old age, longer. So it's going to be a long, long time. So I thought, okay, let's map it. If you look, the pink, I'm marked in pink, okay? I'm marked in pink. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of this person, okay? Why do people do? Let's see. Let me try to get rid of this person. I don't know how. We'll just ignore them. Okay, we'll just ignore them. So in the pink is where the map. So we're going to take a look at the Sun, Pluto, and the IC. What is the IC in a chart? The IC is the end of the matter. It's the beginning of the 4th house. It's the end of the matter. It's the opposite to the midheaven. So it is the end of the matter. Keep that in mind when we look at the map. So I mapped this chart. Look at what happens. Look at that. From their house to the exact mileage, we go not one line, but 3 lines. The Sun, Pluto, and the IC to the exact causeway, the exact bridge where the whistleblower said he had disposed of the remains. So I text Crystal and I said, you know, this could be just a circumstance where we're getting all of the information from all of the people. You know, we just don't know. We don't know. Look at that, though. Look at that chart going. I mean, it just made, I'm missing a map. Okay, here we go. All of those lines are pointed to that area. So, you know, maybe the whistleblower knew more. Maybe there's more to the story. But absolutely, the whistleblower should be, you know, knew something. I mean, what are the odds, y'all, of me going to their house, and that's where the middle pin is where the baby was last seen, and you take out math, and its bearings, and 3 lines go exactly to right there. There it is. It's the exact causeway. Now, how many causeways are there in Tampa Bay, leading into Tampa Bay? So I said to Crystal, I said, you know, I think we'll just keep listening to podcasts. And, you know, you always keep the hope alive with a little one that could very well be discovered with genealogy where she was, you know, adopted by a couple. She was, you know, could have been sold. Who knows? So you always keep that faith alive. But I hated seeing this, but I was kind of relieved because the charts were very weird. I think when they're like that too, we don't really have a positive timestamp. So this is what can occur because timestamps must be exact. But this is pretty pretty darn close. This is pretty darn close. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. Thanks for the shout out. You're welcome. You're welcome. And Renee remembers this case. Yeah, it stuck with Crystal as well. And Crystal lived in the area, Renee. The parents. Yeah, the parents had a heck of a, I mean, a lot of people thought that. A lot of people thought that. Parents made $1.5 million for being accused and indicted. they lost. I mean, the judge ruled against it. And if so, I don't know. It's it's sad. The whole story's sad. So I hope something happens where where they do come up with the genealogy. I think that would be wonderful. So we'll keep our hopes alive. Hi, Miss Lois. How are you? We're waiting for the storms here, Lois. Possibly a family member. Could be, Kathy. That sixth house shows us someone in a work environment, whether it was mom or dad, and the work environment also knew something. So I think somebody in the work environment knew as well. And you know what? We see this so much, even with cases today, y'all. The police zero in on one suspect, and they have tunnel vision, and they don't expand out enough, and they miss things very quickly. They miss so much. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So, and then just and Lee is right. We have a lot of things flying in the true crime world right now. We've got Nancy Guthrie. They went down and they searched in Mexico. However, another private investigator came out who has done cases. He feels like that she was taken up north, closer to the Phoenix area. So that case is seeming to move, at least get some legs back into it a little bit. We'll see what happens. And we know now that the boots on the ground, the streamers that we get a lot of our information from, and let's face it, those kids that are out there reporting, we get information. We get it in real time. They help solve cases. So apparently the Pima County Sheriff's Office, the sheriff, I imagine, doesn't like the streamers being there. So if those kids are caught, apparently even sitting there filming or doing a live shot just in front of the home, they're getting ticketed, and they're also getting a couple of them were arrested. So I don't know about what's going to happen there, but that's just odd too. Why wouldn't you want, I don't understand why you wouldn't want people to keep a case going and keep people looking and keep, just like with Sabrina's case right here, share the, the age progression, flyer. Maybe somebody knows this person. Who knows? We never know. We never know. That's interesting. This case is interesting, isn't it, Denise? I don't like it because the parents still have hope, which they should. They should still have a lot of hope that she is. The funny thing at first that I told Crystal when I just did the 6 a.m. chart, I said, Crystal, I think she may be alive. There's nothing in that 6 a.m. chart that shows, we always see something in the 8th house or the 12th house, and we immediately know when something has happened. It's not in that 6 a.m. chart. It is in the 1 a.m. chart. So it's screwy. It's really screwy, but it sure goes to that causeway, doesn't it? Sure goes to that causeway. My BF said Phoenix area. Well, we got lines going up to Phoenix on Guthrie map. We have lines going up to Phoenix. I keep thinking it's Mexico. Don't ask me why. But what I always say, and I see a line there, it's always the opposite line. I'm never right when I say that. Oh, I bet it's Mexico, and I'm never right. It'll be Phoenix. But there's a line that heads up to Phoenix. He has a gift, though, won't admit it. He says it's common sense. No, it's intuition. By the way, Lee is my nickname. My name's Lisa. We know your name's Lisa. I thought you just wanted Lee. What do you want us to call you, Lisa? Lisa or Lee? We are, aren't we? We'll say, oh, I think it's Mexico. And then the line will be going up to Phoenix. And sure enough, it's like, what? Never right. But that's okay. We get there eventually, don't we? We eventually get there. So that is this case. There's a lot of interesting podcasts on it. I'm going to keep my ears open for this for better timestamps, because you dig and you listen to podcasts, and you will eventually get a timestamp. You eventually get one. I don't, and here's that. Now, I don't know if y'all have been following, I know Ro has, Elena Moore's case down. Have y'all been following this? This particular case, June 11th, 2026 was the last time Elena was seen on camera. She's there with her husband, and she was a trainer. She was seen on camera. This is what we thought the last known camera was at Planet Fitness, down in the area where she lives in Lexington, South Carolina. Lo and behold, today, or was it yesterday? Today, it came out that she was last seen at 9:15 p.m. at a Publix, which was, right down the street from the Planet Fitness. Now, there is a video of her. I believe it was June the 6th. It was like a week prior to her disappearing. There was some odd behavior. Okay, there was some odd behavior exhibited. She walked to an apartment, picked up a DoorDash. The DoorDash driver was right there at the door, somebody's door, at an apartment complex. She picks up the food like it's her order, reads the name on it. The DoorDash driver thinks, oh, this lady lives in this apartment, says, can I take a picture of that? She says, yes. She's looking at the ticket on it, knocks at the door of the apartment, acts like she's the DoorDash person, because the real DoorDash person has left. So the guy takes his food, and she proceeds to try to get into push her way into the apartment. So the guy that got the food kind of shut the door, was like, it's like, time to go. So there was odd behavior displayed a week prior to her disappearing. Now, this is all over social media. It is all over with all kinds of stories. So I'm kind of was waiting for the investigation and for police, because, you don't know. You hear, oh, she was separated. Oh, she was married. Oh, the husband, blah, blah, blah. Nobody really knows. So I just thought, well, I'm just going to wait. Her behavior was so weird, some kind of a mental break or drugs. Yeah, something. It was very weird behavior. However, at the Planet Fitness on the 11th of June, she didn't seem that way. And they claimed at Planet Fitness, when she checked in, it was just fine. And they knew her. She was a trainer. So this is a very weird, we're going to have to watch this develop. And because it was so fast that this started to unfold, I thought, oh, I'm going to hurry up and map it. Let's take a look at the crime chart. And then, well, when I text her today, and I'm like, what does this mean? What in the heck? Right? So here we go with her chart, and we use the 9:17 p.m. Lexington, South Carolina, which is where the what's it called? The grocery store was, the Publix. Last seen on with okay, and then when she was found today on the 17th, the press conference they had today, right before the show started, they found remains, however, similar clothing to what Elena had on. However, they did not make a, they have to wait and get a positive, with dental records or with DNA. But they did announce that they found someone and that matched the clothing that she had been wearing the night she was last seen. Okay, so we look at the map on the ascendant. It's a mile 1. So it's either a mile, 1.0, 10 miles, almost a quarter of a mile, 1 mile, right? She was found about a mile away, a little bit about a mile away from where she was seen. So we know that the chart's pretty good. Apparently, what the rumor mill is there were marital issues. Well, everybody has marital issues, right? I mean, sometimes it happens. But in the chart, we've got the 7th house, which is relationships. It is a little rocky. It is rocky. So that could be it. Maybe a fight. Who knows? Maybe just an argument. We don't know. The perp would be, if there was a perp, there was no perp, right? So we look for her, Capricorn, and who rules Capricorn? That's Saturn in the 4th house. Now, isn't it funny that Elena is right next to Neptune? What can Neptune represent? It can represent mental issues. It can represent drugs or alcohol, but it also can be cameras. The cameras are what really got her people's eyes on this case because everybody in that Lexington area checked their cameras, which really led to law enforcement going to the area where they searched. Somebody stated that they had saw her walking in their camera. So this again is when communities really help investigations. They literally took the police to the area where she was technically last seen, which was like a mile away from the Publix, and that's where she was located. So what's funny is the moon is the co-ruler. I'm waiting to see if she was found in a park, because she's in a park in the woods. That's where the moon is, in a park in the woods, because she's the moon, which is the co-ruler. Taurus is the woods, a wooded area. But we don't know. We don't have the details. So this chart is pretty good, and 2nd house would be problems with money. Could be money issues or power control issues over money, probably. Don't know. I'm sure we'll find out. We don't know. Let's see. This Uranus is attached to it, aspects the Neptune in the 4th house. Uranus is accidents. Shocking. Could be an accident. Could be an accident with Uranus. We just don't know yet. We'll find out. It's a very sad situation. Beautiful young girl. I mean, just damn, come on. I hate to see it. So I mapped it. Guess what? Let's see. Come on, map. Okay, here's the map. The middle, of course, is Publix. If we go due west, there is and once again, I thought, oh my gosh, look at the right-hand side of that chart. It's packed. Look at that. She's east. The one line that is due west is the line. That's the line. There she is. She's in that area. She's like just exactly due west from the Publix. So, of course, once again, now that chart with all the lines could be just like baby Sabrina's and might go to somebody's place of work. Could go to one of her relatives. It could go to her mom and dad's house. We don't know. Now, a search and rescue team would know because they've researched this. They know the family. So it's the one lone line. Let me see what is that? That's Pluto line. That's the Pluto line. Sure enough. So both of these charts, the lines were Pluto. Sabrina's was Pluto, and so was Elena's. So I'll keep y'all, if you're not watching Elena's case, it's a very interesting case. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. We'll see what happens with her case, y'all. I wish these things wouldn't happen. It's good that so many of these crimes are being solved. Yes, it is. Well, and this one, this is a situation where my best guess is it's mental health issues. And it's a good thing that there's closure and that, sometimes with mental health issues, and if y'all have people within your family that have suffered from mental health issues, you sometimes get to a point where there's nothing you can do. We need to bring back. That's the conversation this country needs to have, is what to do with mental health issues. We need places to put people that are suffering. They can't be out wandering around because they're harm to themselves. And we need facilities. We need facilities not like we had in the 80s, but we need good facilities where people do get care, and it's good care. We have to pay the nurses. We have to pay the people to work there, and they will get good care. That needs to happen. That conversation needs to happen. So we'll keep an eye on this one. I'm going to keep an eye on Nancy Guthrie. And also, y'all, there was another search with Summer Wells this week. Back to that farm again. Again, a line is back to that pig farm. Yeah, it is. It's the Pluto line. It's the Pluto line. And I think there's got to be either, I wonder if there's a park back there, Denise, because she's, Taurus's woods, and the fifth house would be a park. So we'll see. I'll find out. I'll keep an eye on it this week. Oh, I know, Linda. Back in the 80s, the healthcare facilities for mental health people were inhumane. But I agree with that. It's inhumane not to care for them, but families, their hands are tied. Their hands are literally tied. They're tied. And they need to get care. What do? There's nothing you can do with them. So, and Lisa sent a tip for Summer. Oh, they had hundreds of thousands of them, I believe. Well, if you recall, and I'll pull up Summer's mapping and chart next week, but it leads right to that farm. Again, a line went right to that farm. Remember that row? There is a line that goes right to that pig farm. They're looking for something at that pig farm. They're looking for something. I think they're going to find it. It is true. mean, it's very sad. There's a poor woman that I see almost every day, unfortunately, and suffering from mental issues where she's not homeless, but she's always in the same area, definitely suffering from something. And it's just sad that they're not getting help because, families are tied, their hands are tied. So it is a very sad thing. That conversation needs to be held here because we have to take care of the people with mental illnesses. They need their medications and they need care. Sometimes they can't live in someone's house. You just can't keep them. They're suffering. So does anybody have anything they want to add to these cases? I thought for sure we'd be covering Elena's case next week. I didn't, no idea she would be found so quickly. There's some other cases out there that are very interesting. There's a lot of them popping up right now. So, and the Lynette Hooker case has got some really interesting information on it too. That was the case that we looked at where the lady allegedly fell off the dinghy in the boat in the Bahamas. We have that case. And we also had a young man that disappeared in Japan, and he was found as well. We have that case. There's a lot of weird cases going on right now. So next week, we'll find a case, and I'll bring in Summer Wells's case, and we'll look at that. I'll show you that map. We've looked at it so much. I hope they do find some closure on that particular case as well. It's so sad. We are getting 2 inches of rain tonight in the course of like a couple of hours. We're gonna be like ducks here. We're gonna be like ducks. All I'm glad is I didn't plant my sunflower seeds. They would have gotten washed up. So, yeah, we try. I try, Linda, try to keep them going, And even if it's just y'all, Sabrina Aisenburg, I will put her this on my Facebook page tomorrow and just share it. We don't know. She could be living in Colorado. You know what I mean? She could be somebody's neighbor. If they just see that picture, we'll see. So, will you be? Oh, Miss Peggy, you're the one that needs to be safe. Have a great week, Kathy. Be safe down there with that tropical storm, Miss Peggy. Be safe. Take care. I think we're just going to have some storms, but a lot of rain. We're getting a lot of rain, like within about 30 minutes, I think. I don't know. They're having bad storms north, like up into Ohio. Have a great week. Everybody have a great week. We've got another couple weeks before we get to July when all HE breaks loose. Maybe it won't. It's all positive, but I think it's going to be a tad chaotic. But we don't know. We have to look at that astrology too. Oh, okay. I know. Please send some of that rain here. Okay. I'll send you some rain, Linda. 2 inches in like an hour. So we'll see. Everybody else be safe tonight too. These storms have been really whacked, haven't they? They have been so weird. Miss Peggy, you stay safe down there with this tropical storm. You are more than welcome, Lisa. Everybody have a great week. Enjoy the last 2 weeks of June. It's rest up time. And then July, we get through it. We'll get through it. We always do. But thanks for tuning in, y'all. And if you have any cases you want me to take a look at, just, PM me and we'll take a look at them on the show, go over them like Crystal did. So if you got a particular case, just PM me. Send me as much information as you can with a timestamp. And if you've got any other information on it, just send it to me and I'll be happy to look at it. So y'all, thanks a million for tuning in. Have a great week. Have a great Father's Day, y'all. Happy Father's Day to all of our fathers, grandfathers. Have a great Father's Day weekend ahead. So thanks for listening. I'll see y'all next week. Good night.